I recently bought a Masterbox Figure Set named Take One More Grenade. You see, I love building vignettes and dioramas of airborne paratroopers in World War II. This time, I will be sharing with you how I built my latest vignette using high-density insulation foam. Scale modeling industry has truly evolved over the years. And one truly amazing discovery in diorama building is the different types of foams. Foams have very versatile properties, which truly helps mimic concrete structures, bricks, wood. Off the bat, you'll see I'm already doing some layout planning as to where the structures and figures will be displayed. Now, this being a vignette, let's try to maximize the small spacing, cutting down the regular styro to size, which will serve as the pedestal ground base. Among the materials I considered for this build were central board with different thickness, styrene sheet or plastic card, foam boards, and the high-density styrofoam. One of the essential tools you'll be needing when using the high-density foam is the hot wire cutter. Most professionals use the larger and more industrial type of hot wire cutter. It allows you to work on larger pieces of foam. Now, how do they work really? Hot wire cutters work by hitting a thin wire with a low voltage power supply, thus enabling the foam to be sliced and sculpted very easily. Wires are usually made from nickel chrome wires. The versatility of the foam for structure building comes with the ease of creating grooves, lines, and shapes just by using a sharp-pointed object such as pencil and a cutter. The foam can accommodate other materials such as wood, plastics, and wires. Now let's attach the structure to the ground pedestal and then placing the figures for the second time and see if this is going to be wonderful. Now, to replicate an iron grill ornament on the top part of the door, I use a thin wire which can easily be bent to shape. This wire is a jewelry accessory. I filled the gaps using a 2-part putty. I sawed a 3/4 wood ply to serve as a vignette base. Sanding the rough edges is necessary. The ground pedestal with the vignette will be glued onto the base. To make the door handles, I use an ordinary aluminum foil container, and I cut out strips. I then bent and curved them to shape. This is what I mentioned about the foam being versatile and has unique properties for creative freedom. Here, you see I'm using a thin device to carve holes in broken concrete to mimic bullet holes or fragment damage. You can also use a hobby knife too. Again, I am using lacquer varnish to treat the wood frame and sides, after which I will cover it with low-tack masking tape to protect it from succeeding paint activities. Normally, you can paint directly onto the surface of the foam, provided it is only an acrylic paint. You see, foam surfaces melt easily from strong paints and thinners, especially if it is lacquer, enamel, or mineral spirits. So, for added measure, I covered the surface with diluted plaster, not only to protect it from subsequent paint, but to mimic concrete surface as well. Now, after drying, you will notice the plaster surface is too thick. What I do is sand it to my preference and wipe some off using a damp cloth. Obviously, I painted it with acrylic black. Now, it serves two purposes. One is to unify the colors of the structure, foam, wood, and plastic, and to see for errors. Two, it's like a primer paint, and it also serves to add shadows for the succeeding paints. When painting the door, I relied on the old school dry brushing, then brushed some highlights. Regular colored pencil should help with the worn-out door look, but be careful, it is not as forgiving as AK pencils. Moving on to the Masterbox figures, I decided to make the uniforms look the same. Of course, there will be a variation of here and there will help them have individual look. Using some hoodie, I sculpted the helmet to mimic strips of fabric scrim. Then, I proceeded to cover seams of the figures. In choosing the uniform shade, I painted some on the post-it notes and labeled them. Then I tried to visually compare them with the photos on my mobile phone. Eventually, I trimmed the choices down to desert yellow and khaki to have some variations in the shade. Surprisingly, not much of a difference when painted with highlights and shadows. Painting the boots with leather fire engine red, then leathered colors of the holster and other straps by mixing acrylic colors of orange and brown. The general purpose bag had several retouches as I wanted to come close to a greenish khaki shade rather than just brown or desert sand color. And the most favorite part, trying my luck and very best to paint the famous Screaming Eagle Airborne patch. Hope you guys will be forgiving. Figure painting is one of the most challenging and difficult things to do in this hobby. You know, getting the right skin tone, shadows, and what have yous. It is one of a make or break activity. Now, there are available videos that you can purchase showing the styles and techniques of figure painting, or you can try several books and other reading materials. For the gun and rifle straps, I use a cut-out masking tape, then painted on it. Well, thank you for reaching up to this point. Again, thank you guys for your support, and see you next time on my next video. Yowza!